What if I told you there's a country where ancient cities older than Rome lie in ruins, where 80% of the population needs humanitarian aid, and where children grow up to the sound of airstrikes instead of lullabies? This is Yemen, the most dangerous Arab nation on earth. But beyond the war and chaos lies a land of haunting beauty and unshakable spirit. And fact number 6 is something the media will never show you. Let's begin. Number 1. A country unlike any other in the Arab world. When people think of Arab nations, the image that often comes to mind is one of boundless affluence. Cities made of glass and steel rising from the sand. Oil-funded empires wear golden robes, luxury yachts, private helicopters, and supercars are a daily norm. But Yemen dismantles this illusion with brutal honesty. It is a country that shares the geography, language, and history of its wealthy neighbors, yet remains worlds apart in lived experience. Despite possessing considerable oil reserves, enough to say that crude can be extracted directly from the rocky ground, Yemen has become synonymous not with wealth, but with war, devastation, and desperation. Today, it ranks among the top 2 poorest nations in both Asia and the world, a staggering fact that reveals the profound impact of political instability and prolonged conflict. For over a decade, Yemen has been engulfed in a relentless civil war, leading to the collapse of essential services and a humanitarian catastrophe affecting over 80% of its population. Hospitals run without electricity, families survive on scraps, children grow up surrounded not by dreams, but by drones and despair. And yet, beneath this suffering lies a cultural and historical depth that most of the world has forgotten. Yemen's ancient cities like Sana'a, recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, were once vibrant centers of trade, scholarship, and architecture. Now these treasures sit in ruins, hidden behind the smoke of ongoing violence. The disconnect is staggering. A land rich in potential, with a heritage that rivals any in the Arab world, is now struggling for its very survival. What Yemen teaches us is clear. Resources alone do not build nations. Peace, leadership, and unity are what transform wealth into progress. In today's world, where social media often highlights only glamour and extravagance, it is more crucial than ever to look beyond the surface and understand the real struggles of nations like Yemen. They deserve more than pity. They deserve attention, justice, and solidarity. If this insight opened your eyes, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more eye-opening stories, and share this video to help spread awareness about the forgotten corners of our world. And trust us, you won't want to miss fact number 2, where we uncover a place so geographically extreme, it challenges everything you thought you knew about natural beauty and danger. Stay tuned, because Yemen's secrets are just getting started. Number 2, a nation rich in oil but poor in progress. Yemen, a country resting at the southernmost tip of the Arabian Peninsula, spans an expansive 555,000 square kilometers, an area larger than France, yet remains one of the least developed nations in the region. With a population of approximately 33 million, it faces a staggering challenge of managing high density and limited economic mobility amid growing humanitarian concerns. The entire population speaks Arabic and practices Islam, giving the country a strong sense of cultural unity and religious identity. Strategically surrounded by Oman to the east, Saudi Arabia to the north, the Arabian Sea to the south, and the Red Sea to the west, Yemen possesses geographical advantages that, under different circumstances, could have turned it into a regional powerhouse of trade, tourism, and energy. Beneath its arid deserts and rugged mountains lies a hidden fortune: oil. Yemen is rich in petroleum reserves, and some regions are so oil-dense that extraction is straightforward and cost-effective. However, despite this immense potential, Yemen's oil wealth has done little to improve the lives of its people. Years of mismanagement, corruption, tribal divisions, and authoritarian rule have siphoned the benefits away from the public. The state oil revenues, instead of funding education, healthcare, or infrastructure, have often been funneled into the pockets of elites or used to sustain long-standing internal power struggles. Unlike neighboring Gulf nations that transform their oil revenues into world-class infrastructure and diversified economies, Yemen remains stuck in cycles of poverty and stagnation. The story doesn't end there. Yemen's natural beauty, its pristine coastline stretching over 2,000 kilometers, its ancient cities like Sana'a and Shibam, dubbed the Manhattan of the desert, and its UNESCO World Heritage sites, could have made it a prime destination for international tourism. In a different world, Yemen might have rivaled Morocco or Egypt in cultural tourism, offering travelers a glimpse into some of the oldest continuously inhabited civilizations on Earth. But decades of political instability, terrorism, and a devastating civil war have reduced tourism to nearly zero. Airports operate intermittently, or not at all. Foreign embassies have long pulled out. The dream of turning Yemen into a cultural and coastal gem is now buried beneath layers of conflict. This stark contrast between potential and reality raises urgent questions about leadership, global responsibility, and economic justice. For viewers in today's modern world, Yemen's fate is not just a faraway tragedy. It's a lesson in what happens when a nation's greatest assets are left vulnerable to corruption and conflict. It urges us to support diplomatic solutions and humanitarian outreach, because every country, no matter how troubled, deserves a chance at transformation. Number 3. Entering Yemen, a journey into the unknown. Reaching Yemen is not just a matter of distance. It's a test of determination, resilience, and acceptance of risk. Unlike other destinations, Yemen cannot be accessed through conventional means. Commercial flights into the country are non-existent due to years of civil conflict and geopolitical isolation. Travelers hoping to enter must first journey to Oman, one of the few nations with a stable frontier near Yemen. The eastern Omani city of Shalala, isolated and stark, serves as the last launching point before the descent into one of the world's most mysterious and unstable nations. From there, the road ahead stretches 33 kilometers through an eerily lifeless expanse of arid land, marked by crumbling rocks, faded road signs, and a silence so heavy it feels ancient. As you approach the border, a scene unfolds that is both surreal and sobering. A handful of Somali soldiers, stationed with minimal equipment and little oversight, stand as the first checkpoint to a nation locked in time. Their questions are sharp, their tone cautious, and their warnings blunt. They speak not from protocol, but from survival, urging outsiders to turn back before it's too late. Yet despite these forewarnings, the border itself is alarmingly porous. There are no steel gates, no elaborate inspections, just a fading line that separates the known from the unknown. While the western border with Saudi Arabia remains virtually sealed off due to relentless clashes and humanitarian blockades, the eastern passage, though desolate and devoid of infrastructure, remains the only viable entry. However, even this route demands more than a passport. Travelers must obtain a press card and receive clearance from authorities, proving their intentions and affiliations, especially amid rising suspicion of foreign presence. Crossing into Yemen is like stepping out of the present and into a forgotten chapter of human history. The environment changes instantly. Towns lie in ruin, their buildings scarred by bullets and time, their streets void of life. The skies above often appear bruised with smoke and dust, casting a dim light over a landscape heavy with sorrow. Along the coastline, where turquoise waters once brought joy and trade, the beaches are now silent, with dead sea creatures strewn along the sand, haunting reminders of nature's collapse amid man-made disaster. The air carries no breeze of hope, only stillness, as if the land itself is holding its breath. Yet as one ventures farther inland, there are surprising flickers of life, resilience that refuses to die. Amid the rubble, makeshift markets appear. Locals, though weathered by war and uncertainty, go about their daily lives with quiet defiance. Children dart between ruins, merchants display faded goods, and elderly men sit outside cracked doorways, sipping tea as if daring the world to remember them. These human moments break through the bleakness, revealing a deeper truth. While Yemen may be broken, it is not empty. It is filled with stories of endurance, of loss, of faith held tightly, even when all else falls apart. For those willing to look beyond headlines and experience a place where history, pain, and perseverance collide, the journey into Yemen is more than a trip. It is a confrontation with reality, and in that confrontation lies a sobering lesson. Even in the most forsaken corners of the earth, life continues to rise from the ashes. Number 4. The harsh realities of daily life. Behind the sunlit beaches and vibrant street murals of Yemen lies a world of daily struggles that few outsiders ever see, but which millions endure with quiet strength. In the heart of towns and villages, many local shops are little more than improvised shacks built from scrap metal, old wood, or plastic sheeting. These makeshift structures line the streets like fragile testaments to perseverance, housing vendors who sell everything from bread to batteries, often without electricity, refrigeration, or clean water. Street food is a staple of South, and while the flavors, rich with chili, lime, and traditional spices, speak to a proud culinary heritage, the conditions in which these foods are prepared are often unsanitary by global standards. Meals are eaten by hand, not as a novelty, but because it's the norm, and utensils are often a luxury. Beneath the surface, the economic crisis runs deep. Yemen's economy, though stable on paper, leaves its people earning between $30 and $100 a month on average, an income level that barely covers basic necessities. This wage gap is not limited to informal workers. Even doctors, teachers, and engineers are paid within this range, forcing many to abandon their trained professions in favor of more lucrative side hustles like driving motorcycle taxis, selling mobile data on the street, or engaging in underground markets. The national currency's instability, alongside persistent inflation, has left goods overpriced and purchasing power critically low. In rural areas, some families resort to bartering, while others survive on international remittances sent from relatives working in the U.S., a lifeline that now supports over 25% of the country's GDP. Gender inequality further compounds the struggle. In many households, women are expected to remain at home, and job opportunities for them remain scarce. As a result, an entire family often depends on the modest and unstable income of a single male breadwinner. This pressure not only fuels cycles of poverty, but also places emotional and physical strain on individuals trying to keep their families afloat. Sellers, meanwhile, find it difficult to earn enough to restock their goods. Buyers hesitate at every purchase. Even the basics, rice, beans, soap, can sit on dusty shelves, not from a lack of supply, but a deep crisis of affordability. And yet, amid these severe challenges, the spirit of the Yemeni people remains unbroken. Walk through a crowded market or a village square, and you'll be met not with desperation, but with warmth. Locals offer visitors their brightest smiles. Children wave freely. Elderly shopkeepers chat kindly with strangers, even as they stack goods with their bare hands under the sweltering sun. This enduring hospitality, offered with nothing expected in return, speaks volumes. It reveals a national character defined not by its material wealth, but by its resilience, dignity, and community. What would you do if your entire family had to survive on less than $3 a day? Could you still find reasons to smile and extend kindness to strangers? Let us know in the comments what this reality makes you reflect on, because sometimes the most powerful lessons come from the places we least expect. Number 5. A society stuck in time and addiction. In some corners of Yemen, life appears suspended in a distant past, where the march of progress has slowed to a crawl, and the scars of hardship are etched into every street and face. Crumbling facades line narrow alleyways. Power lines sag from rusted poles, and heaps of trash accumulate along roadsides, symptoms of a long-standing neglect that has corroded not only infrastructure, but also the spirit of many communities. Walk through these neighborhoods, and you'll quickly notice a generational imbalance. Men and women in their 40s and 50s are everywhere, working, resting, talking. But the younger generation is noticeably absent, their energy and innovation displaced by economic migration or unemployment. This aging population carries the weight of tradition, clinging to cultural customs like Arabic-style garments, while global influences, such as English or digital culture, barely scratch the surface. What's more troubling, however, is the widespread dependence on a bitter leafy plant known locally as khat or cat. Though it may resemble an ordinary green vegetable, this plant is anything but benign. Cod is a psychoactive substance chewed for hours each day by countless in pursuit of a temporary euphoria. Its effect is subtle at first, a mild stimulation, a burst of talkativeness, but over time it fosters dependency, numbing emotional pain while quietly draining vitality and ambition. Entire markets are dedicated to its trade, and social gatherings often revolve around its ritualistic use. In a country where unemployment, trauma, and poverty intersect, cod has become both a cultural fixture and a coping mechanism, offering a fleeting escape from a reality that offers few alternatives. But this widespread habit has consequences. Productivity declines, family dynamics are strained, and public health quietly deteriorates. While the plant provides momentary relief, it masks deeper wounds, economic despair, lack of access to education, and generational disillusionment. The tragedy is not just in the addiction itself, but in what it replaces: hope, purpose, and opportunity. As the world races forward with innovation and growth, Yemen's entanglement with cod reflects a painful truth. When societies are not given the tools to heal and evolve, they find refuge in stagnation. This reality offers a sobering lesson for our modern world. Emotional resilience, mental health, and social investment are not luxuries. They are lifelines. In a time when the global community is increasingly aware of the importance of well-being and economic equity, Yemen's silent crisis invites us to look deeper, not just at the beauty or hardship we see on the surface, but at the root causes that keep a people bound. Number 6. Desert beauty, deep crisis, and a hopeful heart. We've come to the end of our journey. Are you surprised by number 6? Yemen, often overlooked and misunderstood, reveals itself as one of the most hauntingly beautiful, yet deeply troubled nations on Earth. Its desert landscapes are breathtaking. Endless golden dunes roll beneath a blazing sky, and ancient rock formations tower like monuments to a forgotten time. But this striking beauty is only a veil that hides a much darker reality. Cities that once echoed with life have been reduced to hollow shells, their majestic architecture now crumbling under the weight of war and neglect. The streets, once vibrant with commerce and culture, are now traveled by barefoot children with no access to school, healthcare, or even a safe ride home. Most have never used a computer or held a tablet. Their only form of play comes from worn-out soccer balls and fleeting laughter amid ruins. In rural areas, young girls rise with the sun and walk miles every day to fetch water that is often unsafe to drink. Their days are consumed by survival rather than learning, and their futures, like the dusty paths they walk, are uncertain and winding. Women live in silence, hidden not only by traditional veils but by societal systems that deny them a voice, freedom, or power. Meanwhile, men, burdened by expectations to support large families, find themselves powerless in a collapsing economy. The majority of Yemeni families live far below the poverty line, surviving on aid and enduring without basic services. Corruption runs rampant. While the country exports valuable oil, it bizarrely imports gasoline, profits hoarded by politicians who live in luxury while the people starve. Lawlessness is widespread. Armed civilians, kidnappings, theft, and looting have become terrifying norms, leaving entire communities in a state of fear and helplessness. And yet, in the middle of all this brokenness, hope remains. Yemenis continue to believe in a brighter future. They pray for leadership that serves the people rather than exploits them, for governance rooted in justice, dignity, and compassion. Their resilience is remarkable, shaped by decades of hardship and the unbreakable will to survive. In a world that celebrates progress through innovation and technology, Yemen reminds us that true progress starts with access to clean water, safe schools, equality, and peace. The real question is, will Yemen, in the next 10 years, break free from the chains of conflict and corruption? Or will its people be forced to carry their dreams through the dust for another generation? As we close this journey, let Yemen be more than just a story. It should be a call to awareness, empathy, and global responsibility. If this story moved you, don't leave just yet. Like the video to support more untold stories like this. Drop a comment below. What shocked you the most about Yemen? And most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you never miss another powerful journey into the hidden corners of our world.